Let me at him!
Well, there it is. Hello and welcome to the best of 7 little mini tournament between InquisitiveHawk and MXM.Foggy. So we have a human versus night elf matchup for you, and we will be covering these games over the next few days. As we can see, they're all getting set up. Both players eager to battle it out. I believe that InquisitiveHawk is the Russian and MXM.Foggy is the Ukrainian. So these two already have a bit of beef between the two races. Ooh. So this is a best of 7 little tournament, as I've mentioned before. It was hosted by Good Game RU. It was a little event that they had a couple of days ago, or rather the 21st of May. And I will read out the Google translated description that I got, because the website is Russian. It's typically used by Russian people and they love to stream on that. I know that Peter does, Axe Lazy. He streams on that website. It's very good for the Russians. And yeah, it's obviously the language is a bit of a barrier, but if I translate it, then I can oh, I'll just put the music on. There we go. Get some magical music. I can tell you what the translation is, and I'll read this out as best as I can. We hasten to please our customers announcing a new spectacular match. In the next duel to defend the title, Will Hawk, full stop, challenge the best Russian Warcraft not afraid young elf from Ukraine, Foggy, full stop. Like last time, this meeting has initiated a group of concerned users of our portal, for which separate them thanks and respect the entire community. The prize fund of the match is 2,500 rubies, or rubles. Confrontation itself is scheduled for May 23rd and will start at 2100 MSK. Do not miss it! So the tournament format is a best of 7, and here we go. First place 2,000 rubies, second place 500 rubies, and that's pretty much all your description there. Nicely broken, and that's a beautiful use of the lightning shield. Did the footman get it? No, I think the demon hunter definitely got it because he got the experience. And we can see that this Agent of War is soon going down. There's no wisps there to repair it. Now they come in, so it looks like Foggy does manage to survive that little brush in with InquisitiveHawk. Some nice harass there, because Hawk was harassing. Meanwhile, he was actually creeping at the same time with the Archmage, Footman and Militia. One Militia steps behind, and he's going to put down a nice farm. It's always good as a human player to put down a farm by a Goblin Laboratory if you can, because all you need to do is access your farm. Have it on a hotkey like 0 or something like that, and that way you can click on the farm, then click on the Goblin Laboratory, and use the Goblin Laboratory to reveal units, which of course is very handy in a human versus night elf matchup. When it becomes nighttime, some of those night elf units can go into shadow meld form, and when they do that, well, they become invisible. Oh my goodness, did the demon hunter get that? I am not entirely sure. It was very close. Demon hunter now picking on the footies. The footman getting some good damage here as well as they can do. First is a level 1 demon hunter, well, level 2 demon hunter who is very strong indeed. Level 2 hawk. Archmage running around. Doesn't want to stay too close to where the demon hunter action is at, because obviously he doesn't want to get mana burnt. We can see a boost of speed being picked up in a moment here for Foggy. He's also got a Circlet of Nobility. Nice little item there for a startup on the demon hunter. The 1900 time of day has just gone past, which of course means that boost of speed. We can see Hawk is now trying to clear himself an expansion, quickly disposing of the mud golem. Rock golems next, whilst the militia are going up onto the troll trappers. A lovely little detonate there from the wisp. Annoying, but not too much of a nuisance really, because the creep camp is crept, and it's just up to Hawk to make sure that he doesn't lose the water elementals experience wise to Foggy, who has a few archers left around. So this demon hunter now picking up the staff of teleportation. I'm not sure, he's getting ready for an attack, probably going to heal up at the Moonwells, I imagine, and then teleport into where his archers are and try to deny this expansion, because Hawk is at level 3 at the moment and he's building up that mana. So we're going to see some level 2 water elementals, which are really strong units. There's the staff of teleportation being used by Foggy. He's now stepping in. It's up to Hawk now to try and defend this. He's got his peasants going to town. We've got an arcane tower that is now going to be focused, going to be brought down very quickly despite the repair from the peasants. It's going to be nasty for the archers. They're going to take a lot of damage here, but the DPS is enough to bring down the tower. But meanwhile, archers are being brought down in response. 2 archers going down at the cost of bringing down that 1 arcane tower. There are still 5 footmen here for InquisitiveHawk, alongside 2 water elementals at level 2. And it looks like the Demon Hunter is almost going to get blocked here. I'm not sure if he's going to quite succeed in blocking him entirely. It does look like it's done. Yes! Hawk has managed to successfully block in Foggy, and Foggy's Staff of Teleportation must be on cooldown. So he's actually having to use his actual Scroll of Town portal to escape. That's very nasty indeed. So it does look like InquisitiveHawk has managed to secure his expansion, but there is a panda here for Foggy, so he's not given up yet on harassing this expansion. Potentially a Breath of Fire could be also very useful for harassing the expansion. I mean, this is what Night Elves do quite a lot versus human expansions. They'll get a panda just so they can Breath of Fire continuously on the peasants that are mining the gold. You've got to damage the economy. This is a nice touch here from InquisitiveHawk. He's picked up the Shredder. Not only is the Shredder going to be useful for gathering wood, which InquisitiveHawk is going to be lacking on, I imagine, because of having to get the expansion, or wanting the expansion. So he's going to be able to get the wood supply, but in turn, this Goblin Shredder is a level 4 unit, which does 34 to 61 damage and has a fast attack. So he's basically got an average of about 51-ish damage there, at a fast attack speed. So that's a very good, strong unit to have to help defend your expansion. It looks like Hawk might be picking up a boost of speed here just to try to keep himself evading the Demon Hunter's pursuit. Anyway, these footmen are trying to run around. It looks like Hawk's actually coming in being somewhat aggressive. A good aggressive strategy might actually help defend him. And it looks like there might be 1 more mana burn for luck. It's only 50 mana he'll get rid of, but why not? Keep the Archmage as low on mana as possible. Panda just fending off the footmen. We can see that Foggy is moving on to Ancients of Lore now. A second one soon to go up. Dryads being produced. It does look like more towers are being made for Hawk as well, and he's going to be able to easily build these now because he's got the wood coming in, as we can see. Foggy's at 32 food currently right now, and InquisitiveHawk is at 41 food, and he's got a fair few more resources. The Archmage using the Scroll of Regeneration, which is going to help heal himself up and keep himself in the fight should Foggy want to continue any more harass. But it looks like Foggy is concentrating on trying to clear his own expansion at the moment, because he might have had to have come to the realization that there is not much he can do versus this expansion with the current army composition he has at the moment. And this is nasty because Foggy's actually coming in and harassing with his footman and his archmage, just trying to slow down his opponent whilst he gathers up all of those lovely resources from his expansion. The Demon Hunter seems to be fixated on this water elemental. The footman really starting to go to town on the Ancient of Lore. Goblin Zeppelin being picked up here by Hawk, which is very nice because it means that he's going to be able to micro save heroes and footmen. He can place his Archmage away from the Demon Hunter, keep him safe, and then pick him up again should he need to. Archers focusing down the Zeppelin, which is the smart thing to do. They won't really be able to do much because there's only 2 of them, and there's defend for the footmen, so as if the archers have got a tough enough job as it is, only 2 of them versus the Zeppelin, the Archmage and the footmen. The footmen also have defend. Foggy's got himself his own Goblin Shredder, but it's not doing too well, but it is getting repaired now. Panda chasing off the footmen, and Panda can pretty much take care of those footmen. Foggy got his extra Ancient of Lore, or rather his second one because the first one got destroyed, being built inside of his main base. This is going to be very annoying. At least the one archer is there to try to fend off the Goblin Zeppelin, but how well that will work, we do not know. It looks like a blacksmith has been created, and InquisitiveHawk is moving up to 2 arcane sanctums alongside a workshop. He's got basically some nice tier 2 along the way. Foggy currently has a few tier 2 units, but they are dryads, and they will have a tougher time versus potentially mortars and the caster setup that will come from Hawk later on. The Archmage just trying to squeeze in whatever decent harass and damage he can possibly get in whilst whilst he can with the Zeppelin. He spotted these 2 wisps. Foggy knowing the map very well. I would not know this, but clearly there's a couple of spots on the map where you can put your wisps as a Night Elf player and not have them get harassed, unless you've got a Zeppelin flying over which can clearly see them. But otherwise, they are pretty much out of sight. This second Ancient of Law gets to survive. We got quite a few resources here actually for InquisitiveHawk by the looks of it. He's not doing too bad at all, but then again, InquisitiveHawk has 1,000 wood now, 500 gold, and he's currently double pumping priests alongside a mortar team. And he's got a good setup here with his base defense. He's got enough peasants chopping at the wood to try to repair any potential harass from Foggy, who is currently running around looking for things to harass. He's got a mana burn, but he's accidentally does get caught out a little bit there by the Mountain King. There is no surround, not quite enough. Mountain King eating a 97 mana burn there from the Demon Hunter, which is quite nice because the Mountain King is very useful for his mana storm bolts and not so useful for his melee until later on in the game. So really you want him for your storm bolts, and if you can't do that, it's not easy. Demon Hunter is a tough melee hero and he will harass hard. Looks like Mortar Team might be able to get picked off here. Oh, there's a lovely Drunken Haze and Breath of Fire combination going off there. But the Demon Hunter is in a lot of trouble. Dryad's now suffering from the militia attack here, and it does look like Foggy's going to have to back off a little bit there. InquisitiveHawk has got a Scroll of Healing on his Mountain King, and there's a greater healing potion on the Archmage. He's looking very healthy, and there you go. Foggy using Staff of Preservation, sending back the Demon Hunter so he can actually get some health back from the Moonwells. Not that there is actually even much to have. It looks rough at the moment for Foggy. He's currently building an Ancient of Wind so he can possibly get some Talons or something down the line. I'm not entirely sure what the Ancient of Wind is going to be doing for him. Actually, I would imagine it's more likely for the Fairy Dragons to serve as an anti-caster, anti-magic composition army. Part of his army rather. So InquisitiveHawk is going to have a harder time healing with his priests and slowing with his Sorks if Fairy Dragons are currently in Mana Flare form, which will basically do damage to any sort of auto cast or spell cast. And typically priests are left on auto cast, so they can take a lot of damage from Fairy Dragons if the player is not paying attention. We're starting to get to the point now where the creep camps are pretty much diminishing, at least the more accessible ones, leaving only the tough orange creep camps and the red creep camps. So both players are now going to engage into combat here. The Demon Hunter stepping forth. He's going to possibly get surrounded here. Not surrounded quite enough, but he's going to still take damage from the surrounding units. And the Demon Hunter is having to pull back. We can see that. And oh, that was a lovely touch there. That was like perfectly timed. We could see Rejuvenation being used on a Demon Hunter and then Staff of Preservation being used immediately afterwards. Which means that the Spellbreakers couldn't steal it, or InquisitiveHawk would not have the reactions in time to dispel it, but he doesn't have Dispel currently because he's on Initiate Priests. He doesn't need the Dispel. He's got the Spellbreakers for that, more or less. The Bears are still currently Adept. Foggy is not at the point where he needs to be with the Master Bears. He's just not quite reached it. He's almost there, but it's going to be too late. These Wisps are struggling to keep this base alive. 4 towers going up. A huge army here for InquisitiveHawk. 76 food versus 47 food from Foggy. Foggy's moving in here. Anti-magic shield on the Demon Hunter, trying to stop any potential storm bolts. Mountain King is out of mana currently. Only a couple of bears. One of those bears in... there we go. He's moving into bear form. That is a lot of human army right there. Foggy's Demon Hunter now using the invulnerability pot. Bear being focused down. Panda trying to get some Breath of Fire action on the Mortar team, because it's the Mortar teams that want to be focused when you can, if you can, as a Night Elf player. Panda in a lot of trouble here. I don't think he's going to get saved. He gets 1 Breath of Fire before going down. Demon Hunter managing to slip away here before reaching or getting another slow cast on him. A bear. A couple of bears left for Foggy. Otherwise, his Demon Hunter stepping back into the battle after taking a little bit more Moonwell juice. Has the Mountain King got enough for a Storm Bolt? There it is. Are we going to see a kill? No. The game has been finished. InquisitiveHawk versus Foggy. First game going to InquisitiveHawk. Very, very tough there for Foggy. He tried, but I think when InquisitiveHawk took that expansion, he secured the game after the initial sort of fight from Foggy trying to deny that expansion. But there you go. First game to InquisitiveHawk, and there it is. I shall be continuing the rest of the series over the next few days, so feel free to subscribe, like and comment if you want to see more, and take care.